Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon. This is Indy Comics Explained. Yet again, I have another board on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And, because some people can't ever show up on time, I have to bring on, you know, our new Coco host here, sir. So please introduce yourself, Rob.
How you doing? I'm Rob Multari. I'm the creator and writer of Nightwolf and Snowpaw, as well as the children's series Wolfpack Pups. I self-publish through Lone Wolf Comics. You can find me at Lone Wolf Comics and lonewolfcomics.com and wolfpackpups.com.
All right, cool. First up, we got Isaac. How you doing, Isaac?
How you doing, JD? I'm tired, but I'm pretty good. Was lucky enough to be a guest at a con yesterday, so now my voice is shot. My energy is even worse. But I'm very glad to be here.
All right, but introduce yourself real quick.
Well, I'm Issac Fox. I'm the founder of Aztec Comics. I'm the lead writer on Creasy, Pure Intent, Foxy Vacation, Suck You Busted, and a new upcoming series titled The Manticore. Right now we have Foxy Vacations 2024 live on Kickstarter. You don't have to do much reading because I wasn't really heavily involved with that because it is a pinup book.
There you go. What's up, Onrie? How you doing?
What's up, everybody? How you doing, JD?
I'm good. Introduce yourself, please.
Absolutely. My name is Onrie Kompan. I'm the writer, creator, and producer of Warline, which is my newest comic series. And we got a Kickstarter going for our second issue right now.
Cool. Vaugn, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. So my name's Vaugn Coleman. I'm the writer, creator of Phenomenova. Recently 25 years old as of yesterday. And my comic book just passed its first stretch goal, 15K, earlier today. So this comic book is set 20 years after World War III and follows the son of a war hero. But we'll get into it more down the road. But it has 4 days left on Kickstarter, so I'm on the grind right now.
All right, cool. And we have Mr. Todd Black. How are you, sir?
Hey there, man. Thanks for having me on. So I'm Todd Black, head guy of Black Magic Wolf Productions. I made a whole bunch of comics over the years, and my current one is a heist graphic novel called Take the House, which is on Kickstarter right now. So, as my subtitle says, please go support it.
There you go. All right. So, gentlemen, let's start off with the first question. This show is all about questions. And listen, like one of the things I'm always hearing is how far the comic book industry, the American comic book industry, is just falling behind, right? We hear this, right? Manga is eating our lunch, so on and so forth. And it's not really eating our lunch; it's eating Marvel and DC's lunch, right? And one of the things I think they're missing is putting out these one shots. When I was a kid growing up, you could pick up a single issue of just about any book, read it, and be done with it. You didn't have to go back 50 issues or collect an entire series or pick up an omnibus or anything to get a story. You could just pick up one issue and read it, be done with it. So I was wondering, how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel that we should be, as independent creators, maybe trying to get in new fans by making one shots, right? And in the past, what have you done? Like, have you guys done your own one shots? So let's start off with Mr. Onrie.
That's a very interesting question because when I initially was proposing my first independent comic series, a lot of the feedback I got from publishers was that it was too long and that it should be compressed to about 4 issues. So going forward, that's really kind of like how I started doing things, is compressing my my storytelling to about 3 to 4 issues. Like with Warline, I'm doing a 3-issue arc. So that's it. So that it's not like ongoing for like 25 issues. I don't think there's anything wrong with ongoing. I think the problem that we have with ongoing series is the fact that the concept of every comic is someone's first kind of gets lost in the fact that there are just so many of them now, and you don't know where to start when it comes to mainstream. But as independents, I think we've been kind of like trained not to think differently because we don't work within the same, we work within much tighter budgetary budgets than say the mainstream does. So I think that there's something to be said about it. And I'm a big fan of one shots. I wasn't at first. I don't think I ever was really a fan of one shots growing up, but like now I think that there's a lot you can do in a one shot, and it really shows how tight your storytelling can be if you can pull it off, well enough.
All right, cool. Vaugn, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, look, I got into comics by reading trade paperbacks and stuff like that. I was never really into single issues, and to be fair, I say this as someone who, back in the day, they'd have issues, you could just go and grab one, but I never really do that with comics on the shelf. If I see a run that's going on, like for example, Daniel Warren Johnson's, like I heard that Transformers run is amazing, but I'm like, oh, wait for a chance to get issue 1, right? Like I won't pick up whatever issue. But, I have the idea of probably going back to get it. Now, where things get complicated, I guess when I really started getting into comics and eventually led to creating, it was like Claremont's run, right? And that meant I had to read Giant Size, and now I'm reading all these tie-in issues. Now, here's the thing, though. If I'm being objective, you don't have to read all of them. But at this point, I've kind of become a completionist. I've come this far. But I would say, yeah, you want to write for the idea that new people are coming on, but I don't know if one-shots are the answer. The reason I say that, look, I think it depends, because you got to look at it as a creator, but also as a customer, right? I mean, one-shots, self-contained stories, sure, but I think we need to get in the habit of telling stories as if they can be one shots, right? Like it used to be the standard almost that you could kind of pick up an issue and know what's going on. And I feel like we've kind of lost that in a sense. And I'm not saying, like you want an issue where it's like, oh, I want to know what's happening, where they'd have those editor notes that like, if you want to see this, go back. Because sometimes I'd read that, know the story going on, be like, I wanted a little more context, and that would force me to go back and get that later issue. That earlier issue. I think that's what we need to when I say make comics new reader friendly, that doesn't mean throwing out decades of continuity. The problem I have is every possible solution I can get proposed is going to go and get interpreted in the worst possible light by the big two. They'd be like, oh, new reader friendly, so that means throw out all continuity. It's like, no, it's not what I said. Oh, it means a new number 1 issue every couple months. No, it's not what I'm saying either. But I think we need to get in the habit of, understanding that we are gaining new audiences. I think the problem with the big two is they got too comfortable with the same fans coming back and back and back and back. They kind of forgot that every issue is someone's first issue. And I think that, like issue 2 of my comic, which I've already wrote, I kind of have a bit of a recap of issue 1. But I wrote it in a way where it's like, yeah, you could read this on its own, but you're going to want to read issue 1 if you just read it on its own. And that's how it should be done, in my opinion. Sorry, that was a very long-winded answer. But yeah, my answer would be make it where you can read it on its own, but then the person is going to want to go back and read the earlier stuff.
All right. Fair enough. Todd, what are your thoughts?
I like him. Next. Joking. So, balanced, as in all things, there are situations where one-shots are great, situations ones aren't. And I'll actually focus on the book I'm doing right now, which it's a one-shot. It's a 92-page graphic novel. It's all one story. There isn't a planned sequel. We could do one. We might not. Who knows? And when I was consulting with some people for putting it on Kickstarter, they said, you really should chop it up because you want to build a fan base. I'm like, but that ruins the point. If I take it and divide it into, like, say 3, then that's me trying to chop it up in the right spot, and I have to hope that they're interested enough to keep coming back. Some people just love that one-shot story, and there are certain comics with the big two that they have those one-shot stories and they're amazing, and you kind of want to go with that feel, but then they just keep doing the ongoings. And sometimes I remember when the Krakoan age happened. Right at the beginning, they had like very small arcs, and they had like 5 series, but they only lasted like 5 issues, and then they would move on to the next one because it was a story, and then they were ready to move on. And for us indie people, sometimes you can't do the ongoing because time, money, whatever. So you do like a bigger one shot so you can tell your story. and people will resonate that. When I'm doing cons, there are people who are fine with having the ongoings, and they'll say, "Oh, when's the next one coming out, Todd?" Or they'll go, "Okay, just yesterday I was at a con. A friend of mine asked, hey, is that one a self-contained or is that a series?" I go, "It's self-contained." He goes, "Okay, I'll get that one." People do resonate with having the one shots and saying, "Okay, I can buy this, I can have the whole story, and I don't have to wait to meet this guy, or I don't have to wait for the next Kickstarter or wait for the next release. It's there." And there's power in that. And then for other series, you need the ongoing because you want to keep people coming back and build up the franchise. But sometimes a one shot is just beautiful, and that's why I've done those over the years.
Yeah, I should definitely do just a self-contained one shot as well. I think there is, because I've done that. I've been like, "Oh, this is the full series. Okay, great." I've absolutely done that.
Yeah, and like what works for us doesn't always work for others, and like that's why comics is a beautiful place, because some people can do the ongoings. I have an ongoing series right now with an anime comic I have called Tokyo Blade Detectives. I'm on a break, but I'll come back to it, and hopefully the fans will be waiting for me. But with this one, it's like, nope, this is a one-shot story. It's a heist comic, and heist doesn't need 20 issues when you can tell it in one shot. So every situation is different.
I was thinking about it earlier because my favorite, like, some fan of Chris Claremont's X-Men run, but I think there's like power in stories like that. But then there's also, if I was like, "Hey, just read God Loves Man Kills," you could read that on its own. Read the Wolverine miniseries. Oh, you want a good Cyclops story? Okay, well, here we go. Or a good a good Wolverine story. Here's Uncanny X-Men 205. There's no context leading in. Oh, you want this, whatever. And you could have stories like that, and also I think there's power in that too. Like, you can have the ongoing, but then within the ongoing have jumping on points where you go, "I really like that. Wait, this guy wrote a whole series? I like this one issue. I want more." Like, that's, I think there's ways to incorporate aspects of one shots into ongoings, and I think we're losing sight of that.
Yeah, the Death of Captain Marvel is like one of the best one shots that you could probably read, and it ties into like some of the greater Thanos, stuff that goes on. But Isaac, what are your thoughts on one shots?
It's a fantastic opportunity to test out new ground. How many things can start as a one shot? If it proves popular, then you can expand upon it. If not, then it didn't work. Go back to the drawing board and try it again. Economically, it just makes sense. But at the same time, some people want long stories. But if no one's ever heard of you, what do you have that says you're going to be able to put out a long story? What says you're going to be reliable enough to be able to do it? And in the indie world, I don't know about you guys, but I have a staff of 10 plus people, and I still can't pump out a comic within 3 months to continue an entire series that fast. So for me, it makes sense. We're building an entire new line based on the ideology of two shots as opposed to one shot. By the way, it's not too big, but it's just enough. It allows us to keep going. What we're doing right now, the Foxy Vacation series, are self-contained one shots. I kind of got the idea from how Udon does the swimsuit specials. Now they got a Shantae one coming out and stuff. And I've always enjoyed those kind of books. So I'm for them. But economically, it makes more sense if Marvel and DC, on their standpoint, if they're having a hard time making money off of the same ideas and same people they've been using. And I get why they keep going. Like we were talking earlier about Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom. Well, yeah, economically, it makes perfect sense. You have a popular guy everybody likes, throw him in there. Don't take a risk on somebody new. Your shareholders will kill you. I get that. So why not use one shots as a chance to try out new ideas, new creators, new talent, see what they can do. And hey, if it didn't do that well, it was limited run anyways. You don't lose that much. If it does well, hey, we found somebody. That's all I got.
Cool. Rob, what are your thoughts?
I think for the big two specifically, they could inject one shots, if not in the main series, but they have the ability to put out maybe a 1 or 2 one shots of their popular characters as kind of introductory stories. Because like if you think about a television series, it's most of those have an ongoing plot throughout like the main season, but they break them up into little one-shot stories throughout the entire season, but still working towards that end, so I think there's a lot to be able to do that for them, especially because they have, the wider printing and creator base that they could pull from to be able to do that. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like, this, immaculate, like, story either. One shots are typically like, more hit, just wanted to get that excitement, especially for kids. I mean, that's a great way for them to get kids back into it.
Right. Which is my point.
Right.
I like that idea. That's a good take.
Yeah. And I think for like an indie, if you have the ability to do that, it's also dependent on your stories. If your story justifies a one shot where you can make it work for you, that makes sense. In my case, like with my Nightwolf series, I had it as an ongoing from the very beginning of the conception, and that's how I've been running with it. So, and I'm up to issue 9 is going to be coming out this fall. And, with Snowpaw, then I kind of did similar with Onrie. I started doing, instead of like the longer form, I'm breaking the story arcs into 4. So it's a 4 issue story arc, for that series. I've done anthologies that have been like 4 pages, 8 pages that are one shots. And it's tough to break those like bigger stories down into that, so it really does depend on what story you want to tell and how you want to do it. And if it works, for example, like I could do a one shot with Snowpaw because I have 200 years to play with her between her series and Nightwolf. Nightwolf right now, unless I were to skip ahead and, make a lot of spoilers, I couldn't do a one shot for him. You know what I mean? So again, it depends on, your character, your story that you've already put out, how you want to do it, or if you're just coming up with a whole new story that you just want to tell and be done with it.
Another thing I want to kind of like add on to all this, I think it's all about what the story calls for. It's kind of like trope chasing. It's like, well, I want to do a story that's, gonna target this specific audience just because, this other book did really well with that target audience. So now I'm going to chase that trope. It's like making NSFW projects just for the sake of, saying, well, this is easy. If you go into it with that mindset, you're going to get destroyed. So
I think we've seen a lot of that happening.
Yeah, of course. And I think the same is true about whether you do a one shot, whether you do an ongoing. Like Rob, you're an excellent example of someone in the independent comics community who has decided to make an ongoing series and has done it successfully. And it's fantastic because that was your choice. That's the direction you see for your story. And you've done spinoffs and you've continued the lore of your universe. And that's great. I think it really just comes down to what does the story call for and what does the creator want to do with said story,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, in the Oswald Chronicles, which is a very long form story, I have it broken down into each volume is its own story. So you can just read those. But I also have one shots. I have literally 32 page and 24 page stories that you could just read within the context of themselves and not have to read the rest of it. It's just like a one and done story that has the characters in it. And without much being very familiar, I mean, we're all pretty much familiar with tropes. So, you'll catch on quick. You can just read it and you can just move on and say, oh, okay, well, that was cool. And then you can go about your business, And sometimes I feel that's necessary. Sometimes you need to have those stories. I mean, I have the very first issue of the Oswald Chronicles, like its origin. My first day is a 24-page one-shot. And I would go to conventions and I would do printed up digest size and I would sell that book for $1. And I would do it with a money back guarantee, as if you don't like it, bring it back, I'll give you back your $1. Don't worry about it. Right? I've had one person ever return it, and that was a little kid up in Boston, and he needed the $1 to buy another $10 book on my table. So, I ended up giving him the book and, selling the other book, but hold on. We have a special guest, this Dan Yankee.
Yeah, boy, say his name and he appears. No,
I believe it's journey.
I was actually thinking I was going to see you at New York this year. I wasn't expecting to see you here, man.
Ari, what's up, brother?
What's up,
doing?
Jay?
Isaac, Vaugn, Todd, Rob.
What's going on,
everybody? How are we? We
Good.
need 2 more people, and we could do the opening to the Brady Bunch. I fucking loved it.
No, well, this is Jay. This is our regular co-host who's just running a little late. Did you see the movie?
That's where I'm coming back from, bro. And I got.
Did you like it?
I couldn't stand it. It was garbage. I don't know why anybody's going to go see that flick at all, bro.
Which one is this?
Okay, so we could just continue. So Rob, you're up. What's your question?
Well, before we go on to my question, there's something else I wanted to add to it. It's something that I had been thinking about personally for my stuff. Like, so I have like 3 other titles that I want to like eventually put out, but I know right now with like, you know, only being, you know, the solo writer and you know, we're managing all my art teams. One thing that might help me would be doing a one-shot anthology with these other 3 characters, kind of to introduce them to kind of get a feeling of, you know, whether they're going to be popular or not. You know, much like Isaac was saying, is you kind of feel like, is this going to be worth pursuing or not? So, you know, again, that's kind of reiterating back into that. That's, you know, another reason to do a one-shot is if you just want to test the waters.
Gotcha.
But yeah, okay. My question. So this is going to be a little bit more from the back end of creation here, or from the business side, or both, if you think about it. So, how are you as a creator? How are you finding new things to learn to help you out, or is there trainings? What are you doing to help advance you and keep you ahead of the game instead of just kind of falling into the same old, this is what I learned like 20 years ago and I'm applying it now? Like, what are you using like to help you with marketing, help you with new storytelling, help you with new, you know, ways to work as a team, you know, anything like that, any kind of training, any kind of, you know, whatever. What are you doing?
All right. I'm going to answer this first. I talk to Rob all the time. That's what I do. Vaugn, you're up. What are your thoughts
on which thing? There was a lot of things just listed.
So, but what are you doing to like train yourself or to learn to better your creative career?
Oh man, I mean, it's my first book, so everything is learning. You know what I mean? But in terms of, are we talking as a writer, or are we talking marketing?
Whatever you're doing.
Oh boy. First of all, when it comes to writing, it's making sure, I mean, this is before I even hired an artist, making sure that the product is good enough to, you could do all the right stuff marketing wise and have a ton of momentum going, right? But at the end of the day, we're selling products that no one's bought yet, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. If everyone gets it and it stinks, you'll see those backer numbers drop, you know, an issue too. You want, because word of mouth is going to be one of the most important things, right? Like even just within this thing, I've mentioned multiple comics or things that I'm not sponsored by. You know, people want that, so I think that's one of the most important things is delivering a great product. I'm writing my first issue as if you never buy another comic from me, that's fine. If you never buy another comic from me, that's fine within this, but you'll want it. Because you'll be like, this is really good. I want the next one. I want there to be more. And that's how I think we should be writing our first issues. There's too many first issues where I have to get the next one. Not I don't want to. Not I want to. I have to. Like, how many times have you been reading a comic and they're like, all right, I have to continue the series. All right, what's the spinoff I got to read? All right, fine. You know, you don't want that. Especially as a new creator, you want to ignite that enthusiasm in people, and that's one of the things people have told me. Like, that Vaugn, just your enthusiasm, the way you appear on streams, the way you're constantly like excited about your project. That this isn't just a job, you know. That's something. I think selling based on passion, which means a lot of marketing, by the way, a lot of time on social media. People don't understand when I'm on Twitter, that's work. Believe me, often I'd love to just be sitting writing. But you got to make sure people get the next issue. But I'd say, I'm sorry, you asked a general question, so I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to answer it in every way I can.
I would say pick the top one. Like if you had to choose, like, what is the thing you focus on? Like, would it be your writing? Would it be the artist? Would it be
what are you doing with your top, whatever your top thing is? Right. What are you doing to learn to make it better?
Exactly.
All right, writing. Well, here's the thing, writing. And I hate to say it, you know, because I do want to improve my writing, but everything else has to facilitate the writing right now because I'm my own publisher. I would say getting better at budgeting, learning from your mistakes and going forward. The best thing I would say is, getting your book out there and doing whatever it takes to get the book out there. If that, I guess, to go full circle, if that means writing a good book, writing a good book. If that means getting a lot of shows, getting on a lot of shows.
So you're learning by the School of Hard Knocks and all self-taught and all that.
I mean, is there any formal comics publishing school? I haven't heard of one. So I guess we're all self-taught, aren't we?
For the most part.
There are some. There's a Kubert school. There's SCAD.
Well, but they don't teach writing and it's SCAD, because I've had friends that are SCAD, and this is one of the biggest problems in comics. They don't teach writing as an art form. I have never seen a creative medium ever that doesn't teach writing as an art form. Books teach it, film teaches it.
I know,
and then we wonder why the rest of like books, why all of them laugh at the comic book industry, because they don't teach writing at even the top comic book schools as if it's a part of
School of Visual Arts actually does. I actually sat in on Danny O'Neill's course. Oh,
really?
For a couple of semesters.
Yeah, so it's really hard.
The one school does.
There are
right.
college.
I mean, I'm in New York, so yeah, the one school.
One.
But listen, it was the one I got to sit in on, so I got to benefit from Denny's.
That's awesome, Denny O'Neill. Wow. Yeah.
But Todd, what are your thoughts?
Well, for me, I am also a member of the School of Hard Knocks. I've had, with Take the House on Kickstarter right now. This will be my 15th successful Kickstarter in a row. But a lot of that's just me winging it. Throw stuff at the wall, see what works, check out other Kickstarters to see what they're doing, if I can mimic it. Some stuff I can, some stuff I can't. For this one, because I really believed in this book, I was like, hey, I need to ask for help. So I have a friend who's like a savant at Kickstarter. She really is. And I just hired her as a consultant, say like, how can I do this better? What can I do better? And she gave me ideas that were like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Oh, I need to do this with the Kickstarter. And I got funded really quickly with some big people pledging because of the advice she gave me. So clearly that worked. But I'm also in some Facebook Kickstarter chat groups that help each other. Actually on one with Onrie, because he got a bunch of us together for one of his shows.
Nice.
And met some people through there, and some of them have backed my Kickstarter because of that show that we did. So I'm grateful for that. But my biggest thing
you've been giving back. I just want to speak because you're outside of you for a minute, and I put this chat group together. But like Todd's been giving back as much as he's been receiving from it. So like it's really been wonderful. You've been very active, and I've had a chance to get to know this gentleman very well over the last couple of weeks. So it's been a real pleasure.
I try, because we're all in this together, right? I mean, so sometimes we need to elevate each other and help each other. That's things that you should never be afraid to ask for help. And sometimes the help will be like, smack to the back of the head. I'm in another group that's very much that way with me. And other times it's like, no, you should do this. I'm like, okay, that's a great idea. And what I'm learning from this Kickstarter, I'm going to apply to the next one that I do, whether it's for a new series that I want to make or going back to Tokyo. And it's just like, I need help, okay? It's not just from the backers who want to help me, but just asking the people who have done this before or someone who has a new perspective. It's very easy to get stagnant or to say like, oh, I'm doing enough. It's like, no, you could always do more. Like, even if you want to frame it as a greedy mindset, we always want more.
You do.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's fine to have that mindset because you are using it to grow your fan base, your user base, and that'll support you in the long run, because even if you don't get all of your supporters for that next comic project, which actually something I'm dealing with right now with Take the House, you could get new people that might also be there for the next one, the one after that. You never know until you try. And if you never ask, you think you know everything. And trust me, I don't know everything. No, I do not. So you just can't be afraid to ask for help.
That's fair.
That's true.
Isaac, what are your thoughts?
It's a never-ending battle, and it's never one you're actually going to win. Reason being, you can sit here and try to tell me that you've cracked the algorithm on Kickstarter, Facebook. I don't care. As soon as you tell me that, you're lying. Because the people that program the computers and the algorithms behind this stuff don't know what they're doing anymore because they're going too fast. Reality of it is every campaign is different. What you did a month ago on your last campaign, 3 months ago, whatever, doesn't work anymore. Go look at anybody, the really big boys, and notice that they don't do the same thing every time because it changes too fast. For a while, it was a coin was the hotness. You had to have a coin in your campaign or nobody was going to back it. They had to have that stretch goal coin. I don't see that on anybody's campaign right now. It just keeps evolving. When we go to Kickstarter, it's about 3 months of me just sitting here researching, making graphics, taking notes, making spreadsheets, doing consulting groups, running it by people. It's Kickstarter alone is 2 full-time jobs fused into one. And if you're not willing to sleep 4 hours a night for a while, then it might not be the best thing for you. It's rough, it's stressful, and there's nothing you can do to ease that stress. I don't care how much you do it. Every single minute, you're going to be checking it. A watch pot never boils, and guess what? Kickstarter is exactly that. It's a pot. You're going to be watching it the whole time.
Facts.
You're going to be sitting there with your girl watching some romantic film. Isn't that sweet? Yeah, baby. You're going to be doing that. And there's no training for that.
The same is true of online dating too. You know, it's like you're always checking in, scrolling through profiles.
Well, that's kind of what it is, except Kickstarter is incredibly
personal information.
It is that, but Kickstarter is a very
But
fickle
it's the
mistress.
same thing.
One minute she loves you, one minute she hates you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have there's nothing you can do to train yourself for the roller coaster that is Kickstarter. You're gonna have days that are going to be. You will have days where you just do great. You will have days you get nobody. You're gonna have days where you get nothing but cancellations. There's no training for that. It's just gonna happen.
But you know what?
No one's
You
immune
actually
to it.
pinpointed that you're looking what other people are doing. You're taking 3 months ahead to kind of figure it out. So you're constantly training yourself on what's new and what's coming out and what's happening. So it's not a formal training, but you're still you're still working your way at it.
You're going through learning.
I got lucky that
Yeah, I would
knew-
say learning from other people is key too, knowing that you're never done learning. Like I made almost 13K on Fund My Comic. I was like, oh, well, tons of people do well on Kickstarter. I'll just plop it on Kickstarter. And then that's why it didn't do as well on Kickstarter. Because I was like, it's a bigger audience. I'm sure there's plenty. Well, no one knows who I am over there. I just thought, and that's one of the things you got to learn is you got to take that as a learning opportunity. You know? So,
All right, cool. Onrie, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, it's doing things like this. You know, earlier this week I was on yours and Rob's show, and there are a lot of things I will say that I overlooked going into the Warline campaign, and it was mainly just small things that I didn't think about, you know, because it's like, for example, my video. It's like I remember hearing over the last 2 campaigns that I did that like, no one really watches the video anyway. No, there's very, very like I heard that from like people, like big people. So I just put my trailer up for my latest issue, which didn't give any backstory to the series itself. So I was on my campaign got picked on one of this on the Action Line Studios. They did this show where they pick like 3 campaigns and they go through them. And they pointed that out, that they're like, we've never heard of your book before, and watching this trailer, we have absolutely no idea what the book's about. I'm like, oh crap. I mean, of course, everything's in the body of the campaign, but not in the video itself. So I was like, that kind of taught me like to understand that, like, you know, I may have pushed people off because of the fact that I didn't have that information. So I scrambled together, put a video together, and then doing things like this and keeping yourself out there and understanding, like, look, if you make a mistake, it's okay. Like, it's always good to it's all about how you respond to it, especially when you get critiqued online in front of a bunch of your peers. Understanding that, you know, they might be making valid points that can help improve what you're doing is important. Because the Kickstarter is only one aspect of everything. What really comes down to the area where you really don't want to make big mistakes, at least on your end, is the actual production of the book itself, because that's where all the money is going. If you make a mistake with how you're promoting, well, that can be fixed. Like, I could fix my video. The one thing I learned from, you know, doing JD and Rob's show was I needed a better promotional photo, and that was something Tom Hutchinson pointed out. Immediately fixed that. You know, it was just small things, and I don't think it really made a difference. It's not like I've seen like a massive amount of people flocking to my campaign, but here's the one thing I'm noticing right now: everybody is struggling on this campaign. If you have a campaign going right now, you are probably getting kicked in the teeth because of so much going on right now. San Diego Comic-Con, the Deadpool movie, the elections coming up. I mean, there's just so much stuff that we're competing with, and every other comic on Kickstarter and every other comic coming out on a weekly basis, all these things that we're competing with. this is an off year for Kickstarter as well. I know people who are like really well established in this business, meaning like Eisner Award-winning creators who have campaigns going right now that are struggling the same way that I am. They're just, everything's stagnant right now, and there's not a lot of there's not as much of an influx. This is the time to learn and grow. This is the time to look at those things and make those small changes so that going forward when things change and get better, because what goes down must come up, and you want to be ahead of the curve when things are up. And if you're not throwing yourself out there and trying to learn and surrounding yourself with peers who can help you grow, you're not going to get there. So I think it's really important to be able to do that.
Cool. Mr. J.
Yeah, this is great. A great question, Rob, because you know what? I just learned something from Onrie right now. I think that everything is laid out in the body of my campaign. I do. It's easy, right? I prepared for the lowest common denominator. Stupid me. I don't got a video. I haven't done a video in how many different projects? I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, right? I've always funded, but I'm like, oh my God, like Onrie said, I am struggling right now. I'm one of the guys. I'm not just kicking the teeth. I'm kicking in the balls right now, right? And yeah, you know what? Putting the video out there is the simplest way to reach.
It's not simple. Take that word out. You take that word back. It is not simple. It is a pain in the ass.
Making the video, no, definitely not. But excuse me, it is the quickest way to get your message across to someone. Right, rather than have
the actual use of the video, not production.
Correct. Yeah. Right. But I'm agreeing with everything everyone is saying here, especially Isaac. I mean, brother, you hit it right on the head. I want to say though to the rest of the panel right now, everybody watching, I met Onrie before the pandemic, right? Way before things went down. I don't know how many times I've tabled next to him within the same row. New York, Chicago, XYZ. The dude knows his shit, all right? And what he knows online is vastly different than what he knows when he is at a convention and how to sell.
100%. 100%. I am the guy learning here. I don't know, like, when it comes to cons, I know my little world, and that's my little world. When I'm here, there's so much I don't know. There's so much I'm learning, and I'm learning from you guys. You guys are the masters.
But look, as we pointed out to you too during that show you were on with us earlier in the week, you can still apply that to when you're doing your live videos. Like you have that drive, that ambition that people want to be a part of. And the first time I met you was like, we didn't. I was at Steel City Con. You didn't remember me, but like I bought a book from you just for the sheer fact you threw that card in my hand, and and then you were so passionate about your book, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm an indie creator too. Yeah, I'll definitely buy your stuff. And then like later on, like and I see you on Kickstarter, and then we see each other online. But you have that like just something about you when you're at your shows, you're just pulling people in, and you have the ability. You can still do that, like through video online too.
Yeah, and Jay, I think going back to that, Jay, you and I have table next to each other in New York. You have absolutely crushed it too. I mean, we both did very well in 2019 when we were next to each other.
I think if sorry to speak out over here. Yeah. I think the best approach that you and I have at conventions is we're not selling a product as much as we are welcoming you into our living room. Right?
Yes, sir.
Come in, check it out, have a seat. Just like you said, Rob, right? Before you knew it, the card was in your hand. And that's how we do these things. Trying to translate that even into live video, I am having that problem making that conversion because I'm not as egregious as I am. Egregious? No, not egregious. Well, Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
I'll tell you this. So when I was adding to my video for the Kickstarter, I got up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, I got to do this because, the night before I went out with some friends. I got really drunk. I came home. I woke up, couldn't sleep. So I'm like, all right, I might as well go work. So I got to add this thing to the video. I had one freaking line to say in front of the camera. And it took me 30 minutes to do it because I hated how I came off every time.
Oh my God, dude. I took like months to record a video essay, just saying the same line over and over again, sometimes for like 40 minutes.
So here's a trick that Clay Adams taught me when I was struggling with my very first Kickstarter video. He said to paste a picture of a friend that you are trying to have a conversation with.
Good call.
So that you're actually talking to them, and not just, reading nervously off your prompter or whatever you got, your Word document you got open, like actually put it on your screen right in front of you, look that person right in the eye and have a full on conversation like you're trying to sell somebody at a con.
That's the answer to your question, Rob.
That makes it better. Like, talk to yourself. Like, just you ever in your room and you're just like having a conversation and you're like, wait a minute, if I could do this, then I could talk to someone. Like, it's fine. That's what I do. Yeah.
And here's the thing too. Clay Adams, he's a voice actor, so it's like if anybody knows this stuff, it's him.
Right. That's exactly it. And he was saying that was a trick that he did for when he's recording his his voiceovers and stuff. Like he puts a face up there that he's comfortable with looking at, talking to, and then or if it's like a character based thing, like he puts like something of that character that he's doing.
Guys, pause and say thanks for that compliment, Brad. And where did I meet you?
Brad's amazing. I was very thankful to meet him in Chicago.
Oh, that
is a super backer. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
if Brad is supporting your work, then you're doing something right out there.
Yes.
Oh, well, in that case, Brad, please back my Kickstarter since you said you like this.
Stay on the line, Brad, when we show the Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's coming up. I don't know. I'll take a different tack. I mean, everybody's talking about Kickstarter learning on there. As far as I think, let's go with writing. Right? It's my big thing. It's always trying to improve. Like I said, trying to be better today than I was yesterday. Tomorrow, trying to be better than I am today. Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So I think for myself, it's always a matter of trying to read different things and trying to read the masters of the craft. And I'm not trying to beat the masters. I'm trying to elevate myself to where they're at in the craft. You understand? Forget about sales. I don't even think about that, but as far as the level of writing I can produce, that's where I'm trying to get at. So it's always a thing of trying to read the best, look out for who's the best, read the best writers. And it doesn't matter whether it's comics, prose, it doesn't really matter. Watch the best movies, watch the best TV shows and just listen, tone, cadence, 3-act structure, whatever. Transitions are always important. The one thing I've seen in a lot of books is people do not know how to transition for shit.
Oh, that's one of the most important things learning is I've had scenes where it's like, yeah, you could have two good scenes back to back, but if they don't flow into each other at all, you're like, wait, what? How do we get here? And then by the time the good dialogue is done, you will have ignored all of it.
So those are the things I try to focus on. Also, it's different storytelling techniques. I just recently bought a comic where very interesting. It was a very indie book. The artist started off with one panel on the first page, then flowed into 2 panels, 3 panels, 5 panels. Each panel that's sectored out was a different story, and you would follow along those trajectories until you built up to 9 panels. Then it came back down into the conclusion, right? And it was a very interesting way to tell a story. And I believe, and I'm pretty sure it was wordless. So it was very, very interesting to see the way this person constructed this story. You understand? And it makes you just think out of the box. You understand? So how can I do that? How can I apply that to my work? Right? So sometimes I think it's very important to try to look at these things and try to apply these things to your stories. I once wrote a story where I had a MacGuffin handed that was touched it touched every character in the story, and it traveled from one person to one person all the way throughout the story, all the way up until the end of the story, right? Because I had heard in Tremors, and the thing is, I haven't watched Tremors since, but somebody told me that there's a lighter that touches every character in the story. I don't know.
Really?
Somebody told me that. I don't even know if it's true because I didn't go back to watch it. But I just found it as an interesting concept. So I did that in one of my stories. It was Tenchi Muyo when I was writing, when I wrote Tenchi Muyo in the 90s.
I'm sorry. Can I tack on to one more thing that Onrie said? With everybody getting teeth with Kickstarter right now, ICV2 Milton Green recently reported for the first half of the year, trade sales are down 7%. Excuse me, trade sales are down 6%. Single issue sales are down 7%. Kickstarter launches are up 30% in the first half of the year.
Wow.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff out there right now. Maybe other creators are figuring out.
But what's funny is the if you look at it, there's not like the platform's not flooded. Like there's only like 200. The last I checked, it was like 258, 260 campaigns. It wasn't like there was 350.
I don't think it's a problem with the launches being flooded. I think it is the user base not growing as
Right.
widely as it should.
I really do think this is an off year. I just think it's an off year, and I've been feeling it at conventions. I've talked with a lot of other peers of mine who are doing conventions, full time.
I think a lot has to do with money too. Like right now,
that's what I was going to say, Rob. It's just
tight.
Yeah,
so
if you got a tight,
very,
yeah.
Yep.
And then comic shops are feeling the hit too. I mean, like in December, there was a reckoning in the industry. And like a lot of shops were closing down. In fact, I actually gained a bunch of customers on my reselling business because comic shops closed down in their area. They no longer had, comic shops near them. So now they're shopping with me online because they see me on the internet, and it's a lot easier for them to just, see something and I'll tell them like, hey, I'm going to a comic shop. If you're looking for something off the racks, just let me know and I'll pick it up for you, and you don't have to worry about it. So there's I think the thing is, it's all about seeing the opportunity and everything. Like one thing that when COVID hit and conventions were all down, that like filled my business. I had zero income after all the cons closed down. That's what got me into live sales. And the lesson that I learned from that is it took me 6 months to jump into the claim sale platforms. And I kind of learned, like, the next time something like this happens, because we're all going to face this, it's like you got to retrain your brain to think, how can I stay ahead of the curve? Like, how can I adapt so that when something like this happens, I'm not fixated on what's wrong like everyone else is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, where is the opportunity
next
for me?
to move ahead? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what Isaac was saying, like what he does each campaign, because it's constantly different. It's different, like you need to learn to move forward and not get stuck in the rut.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob, how do you learn?
I mean, a lot of it's from seeing what others are doing. A lot of it's from doing it myself and learning the wrong way, the hard way. But a lot of it, JD, as you know, I had a failed campaign back in 2016. Didn't know anything, didn't have an audience, didn't, I had nothing. I had basically like the first couple pages of my book done, and I was very naive about, how much I was going to put, as my funding goal. So when it failed, I knew that there was still something, because there was plenty of people who still wanted it. And then I went to a Comic-Con with the finished book that I finished. I paid the artist myself out of pocket, going to cons, learned that it was something that people did want, kept going, kept doing it. But then when I decided to come back to Kickstarter, I started off with the Comics Launch podcast, learning all the stuff, joined the pro, did what Tyler, was telling about how to do, basically showed me what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong. So that was a big part of it. Learning to build an audience was a big thing for me. I'm a graphic and web designer for my full-time job, and I work with marketing companies. So I learn from what, when I'm being paid to do the graphic design and web stuff from them, I learned like what they do, how they're promoting that stuff. And I kind of applied it to, what I'm doing. And then as well as being a graphic designer, I'm also the letterer for Nightwolf. So like, I know how to put a book together, but like the actual lettering is a totally different thing. So I was doing it on my own for a while, and people said, "Oh, well, you're good, but you could still use a little formal training, right?" So another thing I did was I picked up, this lettering book. And any of you who are lettering your own book, I definitely suggest it.
That's a great book, and so is the lettering Comic Craft by Richard Starkings. That was also really good too. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and and even when it came to the script writing, Vaugn, this might be a good one for you. Like there was a DC How to Make books back in the 90s that I got, which actually showed how he laid out his script, and that's how I lay out my script to this day.
Who wrote that?
I'd have to talk
Danny
about
O'Neill.
Denny O'Neill.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes, there you go.
Because who I'm taking advice from is also another key thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it was like, Danny O'Neill, that's someone I could take advice from on how to write a comic.
So that's
that's the thing. It's like I agree with you. You got to look at who you're taking.
Oh yeah,
advice
well
from.
you look who's doing it right and who's succeeding, and you look at that. Obviously, but you could look at the people who aren't succeeding and see what they're doing wrong.
Yeah. No, you can learn from literally everyone and everything.
Yeah,
right.
And that's
you never stop learning. I think it's one of the things, and don't look at anything as a wasted opportunity because it's a chance for you to learn something. Is one of the things. Just being constantly grateful doesn't mean settling.
No,
although sometimes you have to settle, right? But is knowing, okay, promote all the time. Oh, why didn't you back this book for this reason? This reason. Okay, gotcha. There's always something you can learn.
Yeah, sending out surveys to your audience. That's always a good one to kind of figure out things like, hey, did I do something wrong this campaign? Did I do something right this campaign? Is, the shipping too much or whatever, you can ask all these kind of questions and help kind of, what the audience, you can only take so much to an extent, but they do give you some good hints, to kind of keep you aligned.
How about just taking an old school comic book and breaking it down, right? From how many pages from one scene to the next scene? What was the transition? Was it a cold wipe, or was it the lighter, right? That transition one scene to the next. What did character A do? What did character B do? When did they finally interact? How many times did they break the powers, right? The simplest thing besides the 3-act structure was the old Jim Shooter rule, where it was, or Stan Lee rule, whereas the first 7 pages, the character is using their powers. The next 7 pages, there's characterization. The last 7 pages, the character is using their power. Right?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, but that's why we do these things, right? Because in just talking off the cuff, we're teaching.
Yeah, again, I'm learning.
Yeah, and that's why I asked this question, because I was curious of what y'all doing, so I could learn from that too.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't know about that rule. I've already written issue 2. It's in production, and the next one. It doesn't follow that exact rule, but that's okay. The hero's journey.
You got to follow your rule as the creator,
right? But the hero's journey is something you want to study. You want to take your favorite comics. Sometimes you got to know your own intuition. What I found made me a better writer was where do you want your story to start? Where do you want it to end? Where do you want your character to start? Where do you want it to end? Once you have those things set in stone, and then have the bullet points you want to hit along the way. Oh my God, does the writing become quicker? Does it become faster? Does it become better? Right? Like issue 2, I was having a training issue. It's like, okay, but training can mean anything. What is my end goal for this? Where does my character start? Where does he end? Because I can have this character do there's a million lessons for my character to learn because he's a teenager who's just discovering his powers. What is the lesson I want him to learn? The one. If he can learn more along the way, that's fine. Where do I want him to end up in terms of controlling his powers? Okay, say he only learns one lesson. What is it? Then there's another issue where all right, what's the lesson this time? What's the theme of this issue? Boom. That's another thing. If you don't know what your story is thematically about, you usually do when you create the idea. You just don't realize you know. Everyone has something in their head. You need to know what your story is thematically about. That was one of the most important lessons I learned when I went to film school, screenwriting. But it's just a general writing tip. What are you saying with your story? Not just literally what is happening, though that is key too. If your story is incomprehensible, which I've read some, indie books. First of all, another thing, hire an editor, guys. I'm not just saying that because I am an editor. There are so many books where it's oh, well, I had my wife read it. Okay, that's not the same. You need a professional.
Vaugn, that's all cool. We actually go through all that stuff every week here, but okay. I gotta get to this.
Gotcha.
Because here's a guy that's doing stuff.
Look at that, baby.
Look at that. Onrie, do you want me to play this video?
Yeah, play the video because it's all updated and stuff after I got roasted. So this is great.
Getting roasted is good.
What's up, Kickstarter? Onrie Kompan here.
Love
I'm
the
the
shit.
writer, creator, and producer of the new hit series Warline, which is
That's 30 minutes to film.
Last year, Warline #1 was unleashed upon the world. This dystopian martial arts epic tells the tale of an old warrior returning from exile with his daughter to settle the score with the vicious tyrant that destroyed their lives and controls their city with an iron fist. The campaign for issue 1 was a massive success, and Warline 1 has gone on to sell over 1,000 copies and counting outside of Kickstarter, and was also a finalist in this year's Heroic Awards, an achievement we're very proud of. And now we're back with issue 2, which kicks everything up a few notches. To put it simply, the plot doesn't just thicken with this latest issue, it changes the course of the story forever onward. This is our version of The Empire Strikes Back. Get ready for the battle of the century. It's Warline versus the Overseer's most diabolical creation, Crisis. Check out this trailer, and we hope you'll be a part of this new campaign, which will also give newcomers the opportunity to hop on board.
That looks good, man. Oh, new.
Why did I become Warline? Why did I fail?
We're at war! This time I will not fail. The truth will hurt. Not your soul. It will be destroyed. Which is why I must protect you from it.
Oh, you're still here? Wow, that video was like supposed to be like 2 minutes long. We're way past our time limit here. Get out of here.
Deadpool ripoff. Deadpool ripoff.
There you go.
Ferris Bueller ripoff.
Ferris Bueller. Shows how young you are, man.
I know it was from Ferris Bueller. I was making a joke. Gods.
Bueller.
No, but you know, like
Bueller.
those 2 moments of me being in front of the camera took like literally like 40 minutes to film, and then putting all that other crap together. And this was all done like 2 days ago. Like the trailer that was there for the issue 2 was what I originally had, and it just wasn't enough to tell people what Warline is. So here I was going through half of this campaign without that video, and it you know, that's one of the changes that I made to in the middle of the campaign, which again, I don't think it's made a huge difference in anything, but it's certainly things for me to think about in the future. And I think the rest of the campaign speaks for itself. The body, you know, I didn't really mess with that, but you know, I'm very happy with the presentation of the book. You know, I think everybody did a really great job with it.
So Onrie, just speak to the story. I mean, what are we looking at? Like, what's the situation the character's in? Because I'm new to this, so I'm
sure. So Warline is basically a tribute to my stillborn child. I was supposed to have a baby girl with my ex, and she had a miscarriage, and I never really dealt with my emotions for it, and so I kind of turned it into this book. And this was really the birth of this book came right in the middle of COVID, because like I was supposed to do a con out in Tampa, and then it got canceled because like there was a big huge spike in cases. And so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to start making a new comic. And so I just started reading a bunch of different comics and really dove into the kinds of stuff that I wanted to do. And I had a really rough time, you know, with this at first, because I was mainly used to doing like historical comics for a long time. And with history, you got kind of like a set direction on where things can go because it's based off of something that already happened. Here I was just kind of making stuff up as I went. But then, you know, I learned a lesson from Tom King. And it's not Tom King who introduced me to this lesson. It's just something that's always been there. But the idea of, you know, write what you know. And so that's what kind of got me to create the story about the father and daughter relationship. This was my way of kind of like passing on something for the memory of my unborn daughter. And it's very much a story that deals with a lot of my own personal issues too. So it's a very like emotionally gut punching book. But it's also very like ultra violent, because that's the kind of stuff I like to draw and I like to see in comics. Like I'm a big fan of like Invincible and Wolverine and, you know, Spawn, all that kind of stuff. Blade was a huge inspiration for me, the original Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. And that was kind of like that's why I decided to make Warline in Black. Was I kind of like was like, well, it'd be cool to see Wesley Snipes as this character. So it was kind of my way of, you know, speaking to the things that I wanted to do. And we're on issue 2 now. We're about halfway through issue 3, so it's a 3-issue limited series. Each book's double sized, so we have 2 issues out right now. Next year we'll have that 3rd issue out, and we're approaching 60% funded here. We have about 5 days left, like, you know, 4.5 now technically. Still got some rewards. I'm pretty confident we'll hit our goal. You know, and I think with this current environment, it's tough to have expectations of going beyond that goal. So at this point, I just want to get everything together. And, you know, if we fund, I have a really great stretch goal in mind for everybody. Issue 2 is really like a game changer for the story. So if you read issue 1, you think you know where things are going, issue 2 is totally going to knock you on your ass. And I'm putting together like a panel with the creative team. And I'm going to invite all of our backers to come and check it out, you know, long after they get their reward. So our goal here is to get through this campaign, take care of fulfillment as quickly as possible. And we can do that because we actually have the physical books in hand already. We just want to like get through the rest of it. And once we get through everything, I'm going to shoot out everybody's books, and sometime in like November, December, when everybody's had a chance to receive their rewards and review it, we're going to invite everybody over to this creator-based panel and, you know, let everybody hear from the creators about, you know, the big plot twists in the story and everything, and to be able to discuss it with the rest of the creative team and kind of give a sense of the direction of where we're going to go.
All right, cool. I mean, well, you're on your way. You got 5 days left. You got 94 backers. So, you know, I don't think you're gonna have I mean, you know, it's always the struggle, right? So, you know, but you're gonna make it though.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, Chuck. Chuck Pino's my editor on this, and he's in the room right now. So, Chuck, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you saying that.
Chuck.
Yep, there he is.
There you go. Nice.
This is where we got to fill the dead space.
Yeah, okay.
There we go. All right, there we go. Todd, so do you want to play this video?
I don't know.
Is it like 90 minutes long? Because if it is, no.
I think it's like less than 2. I was actually proud of how short this one was.
All right.
Oh, it didn't play. Why not?
See, that's you got to be like absolutely. That's the confidence you got to have.
Hello, Kickstarter. My name is Todd Black, and I'm here yet again to deliver another comic adventure to you. But this time is a heist comic adventure called Take the House. So what's the score? Well, this is about 2 thieves. One with some rather nice hair, and the other former partner of his. These 2 are going to be doing what's called the rival's job, which is 2 teams taking on one place to get 2 different kinds of scores. One is a whole bunch of cash. The other, a whole bunch of gold bars. But what do you go after in this situation? Do you go after the easier score to get the most out of the job? Or do you take the easier mark to at least get something for your efforts? You'll have to read the story to see what the teams choose. The beauty of Take the House is that this is a one-shot graphic novel. By the end, you'll know who wins and how. As with all great Kickstarters, there are plenty of rewards to get. Plus, if you've been with me for a while, you know I offer physical comics, digital comics, comic bundles, and so much more. Plus, this time, there are 2 different ways for you to get drawn to the comic. There's the standard comic cameo, And there's a way for you to actually become one of the heist crew. There's only 7 of these slots available, which will be on the cover and multiple panels in the book during the heist section. Take the House means a lot to me. It's literally a project years in the making, and I'm so happy to finally have it on Kickstarter in front of you. So, if you would be so kind, please check out the story and content section below, including the preview of the book. Check out the rewards to see what you might want to pledge to, and please spread the word. So, if you're ready, make your pledge, grab your gear, and let's go take the house.
Yeah, shout out to my buddy Matt Shore for editing that. I used to be an editor of film, but I lost After Effects and I never got it back. So,
Gotcha. All right, cool. So talk to us. I mean, is this a one shot? Is it, or is it a 92-page graphic novel? Okay.
yeah, like I said in my video, it's a one shot. Just what we were referencing earlier. You'll have the entire story in your hands here. Take the House is my tribute to movies like Ocean's 11 and 13. We do not talk about the even-numbered Ocean's films for multiple reasons.
Don't mess with 12. 12 was good, dude.
Okay, let's mute. Whoever said that, mute them. Thank you. Bye-bye. But yeah, this is about 2 thieves who get together to do what's called the rivals job, and they're each going to have a team. And if you can't tell, yes, I am the main character of my own comic. You're welcome. But this is a variant version of myself and my cousin Michael. We each have our own teams, and we go and try and rob a whole bunch of cash and gold bars because the people deserve it. And it's a fun little story. It very much follows the kind of story structure that Ocean's 11 and 13, and only that one's set up. And as you can see, we have a very fun visual style because I just wanted it to look like the most stylized comic ever. And my artist, Alex Garcia, absolutely crushed it on that front. And as you're seeing right now on the page, we actually got DC Comics artist Serge Acuna to do a variant cover. If you scroll down a little bit more, there it is. So you have 2 cover options. And as I noted, you actually have the opportunity to become part of one of the heist crews, which means you'll basically be a main character in my book. So very fun opportunity.
Cool. Now, this is obviously the first book. Is your intention to maybe do another one with the same group of characters?
Well, the biggest thing for me was just getting this one done, because this took years just to get to Kickstarter. It really did, because we got as much of the book done as possible before even coming to Kickstarter, so we didn't have to worry about a large Kickstarter goal. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's just going to be a one-shot story, but there is potential for a sequel depending on how well it does both here and in cons. So there's always potential for more.
Okay, fair enough. And then I saw there was another book. Is this like an 5 Bullet Statesman? That's an add-on?
Those the ones you were just scrolling through, all the add-ons. One thing I did new for this one was, but basically every book I've ever made as an add-on reward, and people have very much responded to that. So you can get my superhero series Guardians, you can get my animated book Tokyo Blade Detectives, you can get my crime noir 5 Bullet 6 Men, you can get my Sherlock Holmes novels, you can get my brand new novel series, As We Wanted the Stars, which is my tribute to Star Trek and Babylon 5. Basically anything I've ever written, it will be on this Kickstarter for you to get alongside Take the House. So and as I found out via a friend, you can just pledge $1 and then get all the access to the add-on. So even if you don't like Take the House, but you like one of my other books, pledge to get those. I don't care. It helps the Kickstarter. So, learning every minute. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you already funded.
Yes.
Right? 74 back. You got 69 hours. So you're down to those,
yes.
Hopefully make a ton more money hours.
I'm very much hoping, and I actually did before the show today. I sent out a massive set of emails and my newsletter to followers and past backers saying like, hey, if you want to get in on this, you got 3 days. So I'm really hoping to get closer to 100 backers. We'll see what happens. You never know.
Okay, man. Listen, you're almost there. I think you shouldn't have a problem making it. So, very nice.
We'll see. I mean, we got like 6 people, not including myself, on this panel. So if you 6 all pledge, that gets me to 80, and that's already right there. So see, come on, guys, support. So, never stop hustling, right?
No, never.
Never stop hustling. Yeah. Oh, and Brad's here. Brad said he might support me, so that's 81. So there you go. See, I'm already at 81 right now.
There you go. Phenomenova.
Yeah, Phenomenova. So this is my dream project, and we have 4 days left to back it. So it's 68 pages of story set 20 years after World War III. Phenomenova follows the idealistic son of a war hero who strikes out to become a superhero after he is struck by lightning while holding a mysterious crystal, only to find himself in way over his head when he attempts to intervene at a heist at a nuclear reactor. So if you want to hit the trailer, we could hit that and then continue the discussion. When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new. Something greater to be born, and with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenova. For you, Dad. For you.
Not crying, you're crying. I'm not. It's like, for you, Todd. For you.
The art looks really good, by the way, man. I just want to say, it's a really great trailer and a really great,
Thank you.
Good art there.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go back your campaign right now, dude.
Thank you, man. Yeah, this has been a long time. I had written my script many times. I needed to find an artist that was worthy of it, and then I did. And his art was so good, I'm like, I can't pay him until I know that my script is worthy of his art. And so I was like, I'll hire you. Give me a bit. And I rewrote it. And I was like, at a certain point, I was like, I've done enough rewriting. Let's go. And so our issue 2 is already in production. As soon as he finished on issue 1, I was like, let's roll into issue 2. I am going to go do 24-page issues from now on. I wanted to do kind of the thing that, New Mutants started with a graphic novel, or Claremont's X-Men aren't, even though, this wasn't by Claremont, did giant size X-Men. I wanted to start with a big first issue, but instead of it being an ensemble, I actually decided that it's going to do the reverse. It's going to start as a contained origin story for our main character before it becomes a team book. So our main character's name is Galvanite, but he will join a team called Phenomenova. And those heroes we see there, they're kind of like the Justice League of our universe. They're called the Crusader Corps. They fought 20 years ago during World War III. That is the back cover. That's an homage to Bloodstrike #1. And then we have 5 different covers. We have our main cover, and we just got, so we're also on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. If you look at that with the fire dragon, that just got unlocked today as a free mini print for everyone that backed the book. The rewards are cumulative across all campaigns. Once we hit 300 backers across all 3 campaigns, which we're on track to hit, there will also be an additional trading card. So things are at good momentum. Someone asked if there's a digital option. Eventually, after the book is out and sent to all backers, I'm going to have it digitally available on my website and Global Comics and places like that. But at this moment in time, there isn't one. But you could join my mailing list. Go to RebelOasisStudios.com. Follow me on all socials to keep up to date. There will be a digital version available. It's just not available yet. But it will be available on my website and all that stuff. So make sure to check it out. This is I want this to be an ongoing series, but I want it to have a self-contained origin for our main character. And you're going to love him so much. You're going to want the next issue. You're going to be begging for the next issue. And it'll be right around the corner. So.
All right, cool. Now, is this a limited series? Obviously, it's ongoing? Or
ongoing. Ongoing. I was inspired. I was at film school, and I was every time I had an idea, they'd be like, "Oh, that's going to cost like $5 million to make." I was like, "Ugh!" And then comic books, as I was really getting into comics, I was like, they could just do idea after idea after idea, and they could keep going. And I was like, I have so much young, raw creativity. I could either spend years hoping, praying I get my big ideas out there, or I can make them now, independent, only. And I decided this was the option. The thing about it is, I actually love comic books. I'm not some screenwriter masquerade. I am a screenwriter too, but I adore this medium. I love this medium. God, so much about this industry is great, or more accurately, the medium storytelling that's comics. All the variant covers, I wanted there to be a definitive main cover. The variant covers are going to be limited to crowdfunding campaigns, whether they be Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fund My Comic, however you get it. Once those campaigns are done, variant covers, I might have a few like way marked up at conventions, but only a few. If you want to guarantee you get a variant cover, now's the time. Or you can get the main cover for $5 less.
All right, cool.
And
So
again, stretch goals. You'll get the stretch goals.
Nice. All right. So obviously you funded on. So you're running this on what, 3 separate platforms
Mm-hmm.
at the same time? So you're running it on what, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic?
Fund My Comic. So Fund My Comic I did for the first couple months, and I waited for Buzz to finish his cover, and then I launched that on Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
Mhm.
Obviously he killed it on that cover.
Yeah. Buzz is excellent. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good friend of mine. I did a great interview with him on my channel. He's hysterical. Damn good artist. So once I had that, I launched on these two. But so I have over 13K on Fund My Comic raised. I have like 907 on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. It was so annoying. I didn't realize how flaky Kickstarter backers are compared to other platforms, because I guess they before the 30 days. So I cost 1,000. I was like, because people just kept for like a solid week. It was like, all right, man. Like, am I gonna make 1,000 or not? And people finally, I'm like, okay.
Well, you made it, which is good. The stuff looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. It looks really fantastic. Obviously, y'all know what you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So this first arc, how many pages how many books do you expect it to take up?
So the first issue is going to be 68 pages. I'm rewriting it because I had written it. It was 8 issues, with the first one being bigger and the last one being bigger. I think it might be 7 now, depending on how I rewrote issues 1 through 4. And then I'm going to rewrite 5, which was my favorite one before. So I'm afraid of, because I'm almost like, I don't want to touch it, but I'm afraid of looking at it and being, oh, it's not as, but I think it is good. So 5, I think it's going to be 7 in this main arc, this first arc, and then we're going to keep going.
Okay. All right, cool. Listen,
7 in my first arc. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. Like, you have 4 days left on this. How many more days do you have on IGG?
IGG won 5 more days, and then, but I might have it in demand. I don't know. Fund My Comic, I'm going to keep to the tail end until we're ready to send it to the printers, because we have it lettered. I'm just now doing revisions on the lettering, so the book is done. It's done. So,
cool. All right, very nice.
Planning on sending it to the printer as soon as I can in August.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Listen, it looks great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Just keep on hustling.
Thank you. I will. That's the plan.
Thanks
for backing.
I also respect your line about, finding an artist worthy of the script. I'm dealing with that right now. I have this really great script that I have for my next project, but I haven't found the right artist, and I don't want to see what anyone else looks like and bring out the fullest of the story. So I totally respect you waiting to do this.
It was also making sure my script was there, and then it reversed. It was making sure it was that worthy. But I would say, in addition to that, my biggest advice personally, make sure, even if we don't talk on the phone much, make sure they're at least to start with willing to take a phone call. Yeah. That's key. Make sure they're willing to communicate back and forth.
All right, gentlemen. So it's Isaac's time. Isaac, do you want me to play this video?
Absolutely. Please do.
All right, cool.
Welcome to Foxy Vacations. Every so often, the characters from across Issac Fox's comics take some time off. Last time, we went to a Japanese hot spring. This year, we're all headed to Ashtotukatcon. This fictional convention is an adults-only cosplay con where we'll be dressed or undressed in the foxiest cosplays you've ever seen. 19 pages of naughty pinups and 6 etchy comic pages await in Foxy Vacations 2024, the Foxy Cosplay Book.
All right. Short and sweet.
Yeah, I don't make them very long. The completion rate on it, the average completion rate on videos is around 40% on a good day. So making it short and sweet is the best thing you can do. No, unless you are like, I don't know, a CGI master and you can create an entire film, or you somehow snuck in the entire new Wolverine and Deadpool film into there. Probably not going to have a high completion ratio.
Gotcha. All right, so Isaac, walk us through it, man. What are we looking at?
It's like our lady said. What it is every so often the characters from across my universe need to take a vacation. We do a lot of different series. So what Foxy Vacations is those characters taking vacation. We are mostly anime inspired and manga inspired. I lean more towards the manga crowd than I do the manga crowd. In fact, a lot of my backers tell me they don't even read comics; they just read manga. So as a result of that, every anime and manga has a Hot Springs episode. You just have to. It's somewhere in the unwritten rules of the genre. You have to. Well, we did Hot Springs last time. So this time, where can we send them off to? This year, everybody is at an adults-only cosplay con. Every single page, it says 19, there's really 20 full pages of pinups. These are all done by artists ranging from guys from Marvel, DC, Zenoscope, to up-and-coming guys to professional H artists. We don't do the H content. If you know, you know. But we do, if they can draw that, they can definitely do our kind of stuff. It has 6 comic pages. They are just silly, nonsensical things involving our mascots as kind of a treat for those that have known us for a while. That being said, they are full of fan service, so if you enjoy that, there you go. Kind of a play on the classic Rainbow Six books and games. I was always a big fan of tactical stuff, just haven't had a chance to actually do much with it yet. The covers are done by a myriad of people. This is our first time experimenting with a cover that has a full frontal male on it, and I'm happy to say it actually has been pretty popular. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. Colleagues of mine do more with that, so we decided to experiment and see how that works. We have a 1-week special, the one right up there, and 2 days, I think. It goes away forever. That features one of the lewdest covers I've ever okayed to come through our shop. We just started it last week, so we're off to a pretty decent start. There's a lot more to do. There's a lot more to unveil. We are always looking and improving. We had a couple of requests for some new tiers. Those were added in. That cover there, if you know what that cosplay is, then you're in the right place. I'm not going to say what it is, but if you know, you know. I see Jay's face. I think he knows exactly what that is.
Not saying a word, dude. Not saying a word.
I don't blame you. It's okay. You can be a man of culture around here. It's okay. We're all good.
So Isaac, how many covers do you have, bro? It is a lot of covers.
We cut down on them, actually. We cut down on what we normally do. I think I don't know the exact number. I have a document that keeps track of everything. It's up to letter T, so wherever that's at, it's about the end of it here. Let's see if that's right. No, I got to cover V, so yeah, close to 20. Most of them now, though, what we've done, most of our covers are now going to be first print run only, meaning that outside of the A and B and maybe a handful of others, you are pretty much guaranteed something that's only going to be available on Kickstarter, because once they are printed and out, we're done. Those are the trading cards. We offered those this time. We had a lot of requests for more trading cards, especially metal. And luckily, the supplier we use is fantastic. Their metal cards are beyond quality. So we said, yeah, we can do more of that. Absolutely. So we took some of the pinups and covers and variations and made them that. They will only be on Kickstarter. They'll never be on our website. They will not be at conventions. They're only going to be here.
Cool. Very nice.
This is a book that thankfully is a lot less work for me as far as the creation of goes, because there's only 6 comic pages for me to write. Everything else is we approach artists who can do the kind of work we're looking for and say, hey, here's a group of characters. Can you pick one that you think would fit with your style and you'd like to do? And they say, I like this one. Okay. We'd like to put them in a cosplay of from X thing. Do whatever you want with it. And that's what we let them do. It's really a book to showcase the artists, their skills, and what they're really good at. We have people like Lyrics from over in Marvel, Mr. Ryan Kincaid, Dan Mendoza. A couple of new guys coming up. Mitsu Blinger, who's one of our constant lead artists. Krias, who's one of our chief colorists. Neela Fox. The name list goes on for quite some time.
Nice.
All right.
So, how many campaigns are you doing a year at the moment?
We
Roughly.
aim to do 3 per year. Realistically, this year it might just be 2 because of timing. This is I've been in this game for about 10 years now in comics. This is my 13th campaign, which is why at the very top we tell everybody, if you don't think that we can be relied upon, because half of Kickstarter is just convincing backers that you're going to keep your word, that you are who you say you are, you're not taking the money and running. A lot of people do, or what you get delivered is not what you thought you paid for. So we actually invite people with a link on the campaign to go look at comments on every single thing we've done. You will not see a single negative thing. It's nothing but endorsement, because we take our backers' happiness very seriously. And to any creator who doesn't do that, I want you to get off Kickstarter, because the backers are our lifeblood. They keep us going. We owe it to them to give our absolute best. So if you don't do that, you're not just making yourself look bad, you make us all look bad. Don't let me catch you on the streets if you're doing it. You gotta do your best for our backers. We love them. The book really is Foxy Vacations came from talking to our backers. They asked to see, hey, we want to see Azumi in more outfits. We want to see Brooke in these outfits. Let's just do a book making you guys happy. We'll do that. Sure, we're all about making you happy here. But that's where the idea came from, and we continue doing that. We intend to do more Foxy Vacations as time goes on. They're fantastic because they let us show off what these new artists can do. They also buy me time to work on scripts. At this level, writing is maybe 2% of my actual job. Everything else is, well, literally everything else.
I wish it was more, man.
Yep.
Don't get as much time to do that as I'd like, but that's okay. What matters is we work with a great team. We deliver everything we ever promised on. We will always reach out to backers and try to get information. If like miss surveys, whatever, we will work with you as best we can. We hold on to everything from a campaign for about 6 months. So if you miss your survey, maybe you got sick, something happened, we can give you 6 months, and after that, start selling stuff off. I do want to point out that graphic right there is accurate. Nothing we do has AI art on it. I will not permit that in this company. And if you use it, don't even talk to me. Again, don't let me catch you in the streets, because if you ain't putting food on an artist table, you don't belong here.
Nice. All right, cool. I mean, listen, you're what, over 10 grand? You've already,
after so long of doing this, I've kind of learned what I can expect for an ebb and flow of what's going to happen. Occasionally you get a curveball thrown in there, but it's not super common. Like I said, though, every campaign's different. You don't know what's going to happen. When we first did Foxy Vacations, it broke a bunch of our records. It was the #1 Kickstarter comic in America's largest city. And hopefully this one dethrones what is currently #1, which is Suck You Busted #3. Also comes from our studio. But if it doesn't, that's cool. We'll try harder next time.
There you go.
All right, there it is, man. Listen, man, you got 24 more days to go. So I think you're going to do okay.
Yeah, usually I get you like really late in the campaign. I was amazed I got so fast this time. I was like, hey, let's contact everybody early, because usually we give them the last like 5 days of the campaign, and we all got a blitz and rush, and that's not fair. Usually I'm like, oh, I get to see you guys early this time. You and Jay, it's nice to see you guys. I'm like, I get here early for once.
So yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, the sooner you get to us, the easier it is to get on.
And you're usually backed up like a couple months. You're like, oh yeah, I could talk to you about that campaign, but I'm JD Calderon. I've got a long list.
It's like quite that bad. Come on.
You guys are great, man. Thank you.
Yeah, he does it to me too. Don't worry about it. He does it to me. He big times me all the time.
Oh, really? Oh, you know what? I don't think I need to show this particular.
What? Oh, get out of here. Look at it's up. It's up. Look at that. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Storm Chasers Volume #2. It collects issues number 5, 6, 7, and 8 and remasters the lettering of the original Storm Chasers series. It's about a former hero who returns to the team that she used to lead and is seeking help to rescue her kidnapped daughter. Things go bad, and she needs to step up if she's going to make sure her daughter sees the light of day again. So this is the cover to the collection, illustrated by El Monstro, Christian Giuseppe, out of Colombia. We got, it's 102 pages currently, and full color. This is our free gift for any returning backer. So if you've backed any book from me before of the 26 campaigns I've run previously, then just for coming back and saying thank you, we're going to give you a free holochrome trading card. Speaking of trading cards, these are the cards that have been added as stretch goals over the course of all of our campaigns in the past. So if you have not gotten them, you can still get your hands on them. They can be added on, or they can be selected in its own reward tier. And the holochrome cards that were gifts in some of the previous campaigns are also included in that trading card set, but they are running out. Then we tell you what it's about, where's the money going, why am I making a superhero comic book when everybody says, oh, don't do superhero stuff. That's my jam, right? It's my money. This is what we're going to do. You can also pick up Storm Chasers Volume Number 1, Unstoppable Origins Volume 1, which highlights 3 heroes and 1 villain, the main villain who comes out of the Storm Chasers series. And then we have the official character guide of Unstoppable Comics. So if you're a fan of the old source books like the Marvel Universe Handbook or DC's Who's Who, that's what you're pretty much getting. It's an encyclopedia of some of the characters that have showed up in the Storm Chasers series. Then, if you're somebody who doesn't have the room or doesn't do physical books anymore, you can pick up the entire digital catalog right now. So out of the 30 books at $3 a pop, the digital catalog reward is 60 bones. So you're saving yourself about $30 with that. And we have a couple of t-shirts that are also available as add-ons or in their own tiers. Some of the holochrome covers that we have left in stock from some of the old campaigns can be added on. Then our first stretch goal has been revealed. So it's another trading card added on at no extra charge for physical backers. And we also showed a little love to the digital backers by adding another page to the book as well. We have some of the pins that we've released over the years. They can be added on also. Then you've got some of our other series. So you've got the miniseries for Curse of the Dragonstorm, issues 1 through 3, New York versus the World, issues 1 through 3, or Shield of the Interceptor, issues 1 through 5 can also be added on. Then we've got our creative team, myself, Russ Leach, Michael Summers, who colored it, Christian Giuseppe, who did the cover, my editor, Dr. Samika Mitchell out of SUNY Rockland. My wife is doing the remastering of the lettering. Then we have Granda and we have Champe Ramirez, who are also adding artwork to the campaign. And then here are some of the preview pages. So this is my 26th campaign, something along those lines. I like Isaac said, fulfillment is the key, right? Showing people that you can keep your word at the end of the campaign. Well, I've kept my word 25 previous times. That I'm not saying there haven't been hiccups, right? Some things happen, but for the most part, we're looking at 98, 95% fulfillment on everything since 2015, 2014 on all of our campaigns. So, like I learned today, I should add a video with all of this info. Make it easier for the people to absorb all the information right at the top.
All right, cool. Looks good. You got another 27 days to go. So
27 days. I'm not one of those campaigns that funded in 15 minutes. That's not me, baby. I grind it out. You know what I mean? We go to the end on this bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get to grindy.
Grind it. We grind it. We're driving that struggle bus all the way to the end, brother.
There you go. Rob, you want me to play this video?
Yeah, sure. Do you or your children love cuddly plushies inspired by supernatural beings like werewolves? Well, then the Nightwolf 13-inch werewolf pup is the perfect plush toy for you. This cuddly werewolf plushie was inspired by Nightwolf from the Wolfpack Pups, A Halloween Trick-or-Treat Tale, and it's a great snuggle buddy for you or your little ones all through the night. The Nightwolf 13-inch werewolf plush toy is 100% ready to be manufactured, and that's why I've come back here to pay for the production and the rewards that you will receive for backing this project. Also available during this campaign is the Wolfpack Pups, A Halloween Trick-or-Treat Tale board book, and the original Nightwolf Voodoo Doll plush toy. Both are already in stock and ready for you or your little ones to enjoy. Hi, I'm Robert A. Multari, the creator and writer of the Wolfpack Pups, and a father to 3 kids who my wife and I have enjoyed reading to every night. I was inspired to write this story by a real-life situation that we experienced with my daughter and her best friend during preschool. The story teaches young children not to be jealous if their best friend has other friends, and that it's okay to have many friends to share and play with. The story is about 2 young werewolf pups, Nightwolf and Snowpaw, who are excited to go trick-or-treating among the humans without scaring anyone. While the pups are going door to door collecting candy, their monster grade school classmates, Janelle and Circe, are up to no good. Jealous of the pups' strong friendship, the twin witches cast a spell, turning Nightwolf into a voodoo doll plush toy. The book is gorgeously illustrated by Megan Alferter, a talented young artist whose overall cheerful style was a perfect fit for this series. I would like to personally thank you in advance for backing this project and joining the Wolfpack. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to self-publish quality children's books for you and your little ones to enjoy together. There is no risk in backing this project since the Nightwolf 13-inch plush is production ready, Wolfpack Pups, a Halloween trick-or-treat tale is already published, and the Voodoo Doll plushie is already in stock and child safety tested in the USA. And again, thank you for taking this creative journey with me. I appreciate it so much. So what are you waiting for? Join the Wolfpack today. And remember, have a happy Halloween.
I was waiting for the, but if you call right now, you will receive absolutely free a box of air or something like that.
Crazy Eddie, brother.
Yeah, man, when you're doing those videos, you got to be energetic too.
Oh, yeah, you do. You do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to sell kids' books on Kickstarter, because that is not easy.
Ironically, my biggest Kickstarter ever was a kid's book, and I still don't have any idea why it was. It just was. Like, I don't know. I didn't choose special. It's like, here's, okay, we'll get it. Okay, great.
But yeah, so, this is basically the Wolfpack Pups kind of spun out of my comic books, Nightwolf and Snowpaw. It's kind of Muppet babyizing the characters, trying to introduce younger audiences into kind of like my world, kind of much like Marvel does with the new Amazing Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends series. It's like very kiddie-like styles, introducing the characters to the kids. And it's also something like right now I can't share my comics with my daughter. Whereas this is something that her and I get to, I get to share with her. She's enjoyed the story. She loves the Voodoo Doll plush. So I thought I'd take another stab at getting the other two done. So I have both the male and the female prototyped, whereas I'm gonna, obviously this one first because it's tough to do as much as you want all at one time on Kickstarter. But yeah, you could so you can get the book together. So if you haven't got the book, was successfully funded last year. I have the copies available, so those can, if you even finish if the campaign finishes and you don't get a plush, those can go right out the door. But you can pair it with the new plush, the old plush, and a bunch of other great rewards. We have Halloween decorations featuring the pups. We have also, you can pick up, if you missed my Nightwolf Volume 1 and 2 campaign last time, those are also available. You can pick up both Nightwolf's Volume 1 and 2, and you can pick up Snowpaw issues 1 through 3 as well during this campaign. So if you're not much into reading kids' books, but you do like the plush and you do like comics or graphic novels, we have those here for you.
Very nice. Very nice.
I actually was looking at yours the other day. I recognized the pup in the jacket.
Oh,
I think it looks really good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'd like to see, I realize the content I make is not, but I like seeing more wholesome stuff show up because it warms my cold, dead heart. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that.
You said it in monotone. It warms my cold, dead heart.
That's just empathizing reality, man.
It's true.
I got a question for Rob.
Yeah.
How do you break the perfect brim on your hat, and do you have that as a reward tier? Because shit, bro.
Dude, like honestly, like when I'm doing my hats, like I start off with the roll, I got it, then I'll put on the rubber band and like
okay.
What's awesome too, because like at cons, the best thing about wearing this hat at cons is that like all the lights above me like do not, because like it's so much brighter without the hat. So I'm not blinded.
No,
I'm like trying to talk to everybody.
Yeah, good shit.
Nice. Oh. All right, cool. I mean, So I mean, all right, you got 11 days to go. You're what 60% there.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I think it like I said, it's hard to do kids stuff on Kickstarter because people mostly are buying for themselves, right? And also when you're buying for a kid, you want the kids want that immediate gratification. They want it now, right? So it's hard to have something that's not coming right away, which is nice. Like I said, the book. The book's already done. It's in hand right here. The other plush, that's already in stock. So they could get those as soon as the campaign ends, if that's what they want. But this, it's obviously got to wait till they'll be in by October, which was perfect. Considering everything's Halloween based, the story and everything. So they'll get everything in time for the spooky season.
All right,
very cool.
Looks good, man. Looks good. I mean,
thank you.
I love it. I backed it. What is it? I'll be sending you my friend's address because what's funny is I actually ordered it for his daughter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because the book, I got it and I gave it to my buddy who has his daughter's 4.
Okay, perfect age for it.
Yep, and I gave it to her, so I figure I'll send her the this plush. So
very nice. Thank you. I appreciate that, JD.
I kept the other. Put the other one for me. So it was just
yeah, I was gonna say Daphne backed it too.
yeah. We could only have one in the house, so this is my campaign. This is the Oswald Chronicles. I got another 18 days to go. I started it 2 days ago. This is Oswald is a mouse. He's and he encounters this young fairy. She's in trouble. She actually is cursed. And she has a curse that will bring doom to anyone that will bring doom to her and anyone she's with. So Oswald, they just became friends, and he's trying to figure out how he can help her. He's actually a burgeoning sorcerer at this point, and he's trying to figure out how can he help her. You understand? That can he break this curse? And but the problem is that he himself may also be doomed by this curse. So he has these conflicts, do I help my friend? You understand? Oh, and cause myself harm and possibly cause even my other friends harm. And this is the conflict within the story. I got a couple of covers here by a few artists. These are some of the interior pages. And there you go. So I just wanted to run through this real quick.
Do you scroll back up, please, to the top? All the way to the top, please. All the way up. All the way up. All the way up. Stay. Keep on. More? More? Did someone pledge $1 so he's at 1,000? It's so long. $9.99. What I think I bid a $9.99, Bob. Well, too bad. I need 1,000. What's wrong with you people? What is it?
What's funny is I actually have $1 level. That's the funniest thing.
There you go. See, someone pledged $1. Get this man to 1,000. That just looks so wrong.
Don't worry, it'll happen. It'll happen. I literally launched this Friday morning at 9 in the morning, so
and didn't tell anybody.
Well,
it's what he does.
Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I tell anybody?
He's like, it's the best kept secret online. Find it for yourself.
Exactly. So there you go. But all right, I just wanted to pull it up real quick. Mr. Rosario.
Yeah, what's up?
Your question, real quick.
Oh, I got nothing, kid. Did you see the Deadpool movie? Did you see the movie?
It was good. I saw it. It was good.
There we go. Okay, we got another answer. Todd,
it was good.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
There you go. Isaac, give me a thumbs up, baby. Yes or no?
I have not. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Listen, I won't say anything about that Batman Wonder Woman scene. I'll leave it alone. Bro. Don't worry about it. No spoilers. Okay.
It's about time.
It's like I told you, when Galactus shows up, it's impressive.
That shit was crazy, bro. I was like, what the fuck, man? You know what I mean? I wish I had my baby with me at the show.
I mean, I read some reviews about it where they felt like the 4-hour sex scene between Wolverine and Deadpool was a little strange, but you know what? I'm not going to judge it. I'll watch it anyways.
They went for the gold with it. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Who knew? Balls deep. But
what you're trying to tell me is the movie's a money shot. I got you.
There you go.
Let's just say Marvel needs to learn how to make movies and such because they forgot.
All right.
Yeah.
So I will ask a question.
Go for it.
You guys don't matter. All right, listen, we'll try to make this one quick, all right? If you could have a mentor in comics, someone who's alive, okay? If you could choose any one person to be your mentor in comics, who would it be?
Nice question. I like that.
All right.
Question.
Go ahead, Isaac. Go for it.
I have a question actually. Is manga also applicable?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as the creator's alive. That's the only thing I ask.
It's gotta be alive. Oh man.
Yeah.
So, but
like
Isaac, what's your answer?
I'm gonna say, if I had to guess, probably Hirohiko Araki.
Okay.
He's the creator of JoJo. He has had that series running for a long time. I would have said Kentaro Miura, but that gentleman is no longer with us. So unfortunately I can't do that. And I don't think I would still say Toriyama, because Toriyama was amazing. But if I was going to go story wise, somebody like Araki would be my go to. If I could ever have that guy teach me how to, like, hey man, what are some things you do that makes this work? Because you have mastered the art of like masculine fan service, and yet straight dudes buy it out the wazoo. You got to tell me how you did this. There's a secret somewhere. I need to know.
Nice.
I've read his book, and that was a mind-opening experience. So just getting a chance to even chat with him would be amazing. If I got to pick somebody in comics, I'd probably say, as controversial as it might be, Brian K. Vaughan, because that guy has the ability to write extreme mystical knowledge with everyday man terminology, and I have yet to figure out how he does that. This dude wrote a book where a dragon literally goes down on itself, and it's the best comic I've ever read. So I need to know. And the same issue will make me cry about some serious stuff happening a few pages later. So I'm like, bro, that's amazing.
Nice.
All right, fair enough.
Dude, I remember tape trading Bizarre Adventures of JoJo back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
No.
I can't follow it on Netflix, man. I don't know where it's at all.
Fist of the North.
It's his lesson in masculine beauty is what that series really is, because they walk into a room. I wonder who the bad guy is, and everybody's normal, and there's one guy at a table who's like wearing a tank top. He's bulging out of it, and he's just really huge, and the guy just poses all of a sudden for no reason. Like, yeah, I wonder who the bad guy in the room is. Yeah, it's a total question, man. I have no idea.
No. I remember him from Fist of the North Star Ken. Remember that?
That's the granddaddy of all shonen, man.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, cool. Onrie, did you hear the question?
I did not hear the question. I'm sorry. I had to walk my dog.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Here he is, in case you guys didn't believe me.
Oh,
that's adorable.
Look at that little monster.
Oh, there he is. This is Bentley.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
have us next
Onrie,
one. I'll just show off our pets. That'd be great.
If you could have any mentor in comics, someone who's alive currently, who would it be as a mentor?
I already had that mentor.
Really?
But yeah. Stan Lee was a great mentor for me.
Well, currently alive.
Currently alive. All right. Currently alive, I would say. Okay. Well, if it's currently alive, then my answer is going to be a little bit different. Honestly, I'd say Robert Kirkman.
Oh, nice.
I used to not like. I used to look at everything he was doing, and I'm like, he's just making a zombie book, and he's just taking all these ideas from superheroes and like putting it back out there. But like, no, I was wrong. If I could take a time machine and go back, I would bitch slap my past self because I was so wrong. Like he is done. It'd just be like whack. It'd be like the Batman Robin meme, where like
yeah.
Totally 100%.
Nice.
Robert Kirkman's a genius. He's an absolute genius. I'm on season 2 of Invincible right now, and that show is riveting. It's engaging. It's very true to the comic. He's built a great following and a great lure with Walking Dead. What he's doing right now with the Hasbro universe is genius. Like that's a guy I'd love to have as a mentor. That guy is.
I still need to read his comics. I've watched a lot of the show, but I've never read his comics. I know I need to. He's like a modern master.
He is a modern master. That's a great way of putting it. That's why I would say he's the guy I would look to. And he did it all by starting with independent comics, like
Battle Pope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like that a lot, Onrie. You know what I mean? He has the creative and the business mind. I mean, when Invincible came out, right, in that 6-week period on Amazon, he sold 100,000 trades, right? At an average of $12 a pop, it's almost $1.2 million in sales on a book that hadn't been putting out new content in more than 6 years.
Mhm.
Oh, and look, I mean, look what he did with The Walking Dead. Like, he's going back and recoloring. He's coloring the black and white books and reselling them. Like,
way to be on that.
Like, yeah, that dude he's like, I have this forever and I'm going to keep selling it to you.
Yep. Yeah.
What better mentor could you ask for?
Yeah.
You know, and like Stan Lee, he built it all from nothing. Like, he didn't work off of anything. Like, you know, when Stan Lee built the Marvel Universe with Jack Kirby and everything like that, you know, it wasn't just Stan Lee, but when all that stuff was happening, it's not like they were working off of known brands. They were building brands. This guy built brands, you know, like, and now he's elevating other known brands. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. Cool. Todd, who would you choose?
Well, I technically slightly have one already. I'm actually friends with Jimmy Palmiotti, who's
he's great.
Jimmy's awesome.
He's a great testament to people like us, because with his paper films brand, he goes on to Kickstarter and makes his very adult comics, and, you know, massive successes. He's doing all sorts of fun stuff. They actually just announced a new one at San Diego Comic-Con. I can't remember what the title was called, but I'm sure
it's him, Billy Tucci, Brian Pulido.
Yeah. I just heard that too. Yeah.
I don't talk so, but when we see each other at cons, he's very, very, very nice to me. And Amanda Connors, of course, is always amazing. If I was to pick something else, though, the obvious answer for me would be Scott Snyder, because like he came in to DC Comics New 52, and of course he did some more before that. But the New 52 runs when he took off, in my opinion. And you know, he did the massive Batman run. Then he did Swamp Thing. He did Justice League, and now he's doing all this other stuff. And I would want to learn from him for two reasons. One, he's very good about long-term storytelling. Like, just look at the Court of Owls and you'll see all the creativity in that. But the real thing I want to learn from him is the ability to just go to a publisher and say, "Hey, I have a story idea," and they immediately go, "You're hired."
Right.
I don't know how he does that. You know, I like to have it to me. I'm just saying. But he's amazing, and I have met him before. He's a very nice guy, but he's able to adapt to all sorts of characters and stories. He's done superheroes, but then he did witches, which is getting adapted to TV, and you know, he's very invested in stories and characters and all that. And I would love to learn whatever I could from him. So that would be an honor.
Okay, fair enough. Vaugn, what are your thoughts? Who would you pick?
Man, I mean, I've thought about it a lot, because I've been lucky to have a few mentors. Jimmy's a great guy. Every time I bring something to him, he does a remark. Love that guy. You know, like I've had mentors. Some of them are in that trailer, but if I were to choose one, it's tough, because now I'm independent, so it's hard for me to say like my favorite Marvel people, because they did, you know, work for hire. But I guess as a writer, I'd say like Chris Claremont. I mean, that guy was able to turn, you know, X-Men, which is a failing series, get new characters and able to turn it into what is still to this day the highest selling comic of all time, while also branching out, New Mutants, going back and reading that was what made me realize comics are an amazing medium, because everything today I feel like that we think about with comics is like echoed from there. The crossovers, the Mutant Massacre, the spin-offs, you know, and obviously they've done bad things because of that, because they've been like, oh, you could do a spin-off and just make millions? Okay. But yeah, I would say Chris Claremont, because he was able to constantly be reinventing the same characters over and over and over and over again.
And he came up with a slew of new ones that are amazing.
Yes.
Yep.
And he reinvented them, you know, and he would wrote for, I'm almost done reading his original run. He wrote for 16 years and it wasn't enough for the fans. They still want more, you know? So I guess him would be my my one to go to. Like, how do you broach that?
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Jay.
Matt Wagner. I'm an 80s, 90s guy, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, but I don't care what anybody else says. For me, that was my indie guy, right? Those were the books that I was picking up when I wasn't picking up Marvel and DC stuff, right? I was looking for Matt Wagner. Grendel, Mage. That's
Good
that's
stuff.
it. That's that's it. Other than that, Jeff Smith, right? He was the other indie guy for me. Jeff Smith had the commercial success. I know. See, but that's the thing. Matt didn't have the commercial success, right? And
It's not like he did bad for himself.
No, of course not. He did good. And I almost
Mage and Grendel is still in print.
I know, but I almost feel that the first Jay and Silent Bob, right? The Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, almost cribbed a little bit from Mage, right? With the little demon skateboarders and stuff like that. Wow, I'm showing my age, right? The 90s guy, dude. But that was it for me. Matt Wagner, he was it, man. He was it. He patterned Mage after himself. Slightly dad bod, slightly balding.
I feel like you just described me.
Yeah, bro.
But he described everybody in this room pretty well. Except for Todd
I
and Vaugn.
see two very young and vibrant haired.
Yeah, except for Todd and Vaugn.
That's it, yeah.
But yeah. So no, definitely Matt Wagner. He's it for me. And this was all pre-Kickstarter. You know what I mean? And he had a career, man.
Oh yeah. He wrote Batman. He's done a bunch of stuff, man. He did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Rob, who would you pick?
All right, so I don't want to, a lot of them have been already said, so I don't want to copy. But this is kind of a two thing. So I've been kind of thinking about this. Young me would pick a different person than me now.
Okay.
And they're both alive, so it's within your context. So young me would pick Claudio Sanchez, who is the lead singer of Coheed and Cambria, who also has his own series, The Onrie Wars. Now it's through Boom, but he was self-publishing, and there was a cult following, 15, 20 years ago. And when I was younger, I was in a band. And I was writing, my books, I wasn't actually putting them out yet, but I would have loved to, for both musically and comic wise, would have loved to have him for a mentor. Now though, obviously Kirkman and Claremont, they're both like right where I would, if I could choose them, but since they've already been taken, I would choose Polito. Because Polito, not only has he been around for a very long time, he had successful books. He's done a lot of great things, and knock him for if you want or not. But Lady Death is, that's a household name for a lot of comic people, right? Even before Kickstarter. Now, he's taken Kickstarter and he's done very well for it. And then he turns around and he breaks those up and puts them as single issues, in the comic shops, So it's like he's, not only is he, he's owning Kickstarter, but he's also still being out in the shops. He's got a wide distribution with just himself now as he's publishing for himself. He has a huge ass team. He knows what he's doing from a business standpoint, and he puts out gorgeous material. You can, you can't knock him for what he's done, No,
not at all. You guy's a great guy.
I've got some advice from him before, and yeah, he's smart. And if you're talking about team, dude, the guy has a bar in his office that's shaped like a coffin. We can't. You can do that when you
right. Exactly.
Life
goals right there. I want a wolf table.
For myself, I would choose Mark Miller.
Oh, he's a good one too.
That's a great one too. I was going to say,
I've never read any of his books.
Kirkman.
Yeah,
he's up there.
Yeah. He's a guy that writes a number of books, and any dude who could sit back and be like, I'm gonna write a new book, and I'm gonna go to Marvel, and I'm gonna go to DC, and I'm gonna take their best artists. That's the dude I want to be next to.
Yeah,
that's the dude I want to learn from. He says, I'm not gonna borrow. I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna pay him so much money you can't afford him. When he can do that, who else do you want to be standing next to? And on top of that, the stuff he's been producing over the last few years, I don't know if any of you read any of his stuff recently, but the stuff he's been doing, I mean, has been very, very good. The guy can write. I have listen. I there have been times I sat back. I said, I think he's writing too many books, and I think he works with a team. I still kind of feel that way, but there's nothing wrong with it. You understand? The books, they speak for themselves, because no matter what, he's leading that team. You understand? I mean, so whether he is working with a couple of editors or ghostwriters or whatever, I think the guy is knocking it out the park regardless. You know, so I would. That's somebody who I would want to definitely talk to. You know, so.
I confess I've never read Mark Millar's stuff, but I really want to. I have the first 3 because I love the Kick-Ass movies. So I do.
I mean, those are, what's funny is those are good. That's not his best stuff.
What do you think? I've heard Jupiter's Legacy.
Ultimates Volume 1 and 2. Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan's really good. Yeah.
Authority. He did Authority, or was that Warren Ellis?
Yeah, I think he took over after Warren Ellis, didn't he?
Right, he took over after Warren Ellis. I like Warren Ellis's section better than his, but his newer stuff, I would say, like Nemesis is good. What is it? What is it? The Magic.
The Magic Order. Yeah,
the Magic Order is really good. I mean, he has like a couple of spy ones that are excellent. I mean, I don't know all the time. He has like 6-7 different titles, and like. All the new stuff in the last 3 or 4 years, I would suggest all of that stuff. I enjoy all of them. So, all right, gentlemen, we made it to hour 2. You guys are awesome. Let's start with Mr. Todd. Todd, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Guardians_comic. It's also the same for my Instagram handle. And there, if you go to my pinned tweet there, you'll find my newsletter that I would love for you to sign up. And again, please go support Take the House on Kickstarter.
There you go. Nice. Vaughn, where can we find you and your work, sir?
So I'm on Twitter at Vaugn M. Coleman. You could also find me Vaugn Coleman on YouTube, Vaugn Coleman on Instagram, Vaugn Coleman on everything. There's Rebel Oasis Studios on Instagram is also where you can find me. That's in my company. Also on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic. You could back Phenomenova issue 1. So wherever you decide to go, you can get the book. But it is going to be printed as soon as it's done, and it is getting done. So make sure to check it out there. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have guests all the time. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out.
All right, cool. Isaac, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Pretty much everything is going to be, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever they're calling it these days, IG, what have you. It's AT Foxy Comics with 2 X's, not 3, because we're not that kind of company, unless you want to write me a big enough check. Until that moment happens. We're also on YouTube with Astral Ticket, but I don't do a ton on there at the moment. I'm trying to. But our website is foxycomics.com, again with 2 X's. And the best place to get any of our exclusives and new stuff will be Kickstarter, because that's where we focus, well, all of our exclusives at. So look for Astral Ticket on Kickstarter and check us out.
Okay, there you go. Mr. Onrie, where can we find you and your work, sir?
So mainly Facebook. Just friend me on Facebook, Onrie Kompan. I'm also on Twitter at Kompan and Instagram at Kompan. I'm broadcasting 3 times a week online, reselling comics. You know, if you come on one of my shows and want to buy anything I publish too, I'll sign it for you on the air. You spend $50 with me, and I'll ship your books to you for free on the house. So come on by anytime. We got all kinds of comics, $2 comics, keys, grails, everything marked down, making it nice and cheap.
Nice. Mr. Rosario.
Unstoppablecomics.com. The website will have all of our social media links there. So check out the website if you want to get in touch with me. Then there's also what's going on right now. Storm Chasers Volume 2 on Kickstarter for the next 27 days.
Very nice. Very nice. Mr. Multari.
Yes, so you can find me on Facebook, the social formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram at Lone Wolf Comics. You can find me personally at Rob Multari. My website's lonewolfcomics.com or wolfpackpups.com. You can go to get this cute and cuddly feller at nightwolf.wolfpackpups.com. That'll redirect you to that extremely long Kickstarter link. And yeah, see you out there.
All right, cool. And I'm JD Calderon. You can find me on the OswaldChronicles.com, TallTalesOnline.com. Most importantly, on Kickstarter currently with the Oswald Chronicles. And here just about every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And just remember, everybody, all these creators are fantastic. All of them are creating great books. All of them deserve your support and your respect. So please check out the links below. Click those links. buy those books. And just remember, buy more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.
See you.